Hi everybody, Cynthia here from the Scrappy Bookworm. Welcome back to week 7 of the 13 Haunted Projects of Halloween. This week I decided to show you guys how to make an easel card, and a pretty simple easel card, and how to line your envelopes when you make your envelopes as well. So this is my card. This is the front. This is standard A2 size when using the Martha Stewart scoreboard, which I'm pretty sure is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I'll go over that once we start making it. But this is my card. I stamped a cat stamp on the front, and I lined everything and dotted some glitter here with Studio G glitter. I also glittered up my cat stamp, and I inked it on the inside, and I also stamped some bats around my cat. I love black cats for Halloween. And then this is the inside. I lined it with some border trim that I had left over, and then I used this lace trim that I had left over from a previous project as well. So this is a good way to use up your scraps, guys. And then I just added a line here of the, pretty thickly, of the Studio G, just to kind of tie the two together. And I used some of this glittered orange tulle, and I just put it behind my sentiment here. And this one I popped up on foam tape. And then also the dots here that you see, they look like three-dimensional. I used my new metal beads in a bottle, and this one's the copper that I used from Tool Up. And they work out really well. I really like them. And then the dots you see here are just Studio G glitter glue. And then when you want to display the card, it's an easel card, so it stands up like that. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys how to assemble this, and then from my scraps as well, I used, lined up my envelope, so it's really cute. One thing you want to remember when making these cards, and you want to use the envelopes for the A2 size, don't make them too dimensional that you're not going to, when you're decorating them, that you're not going to be able to fit them into the envelope. Okay? So that's why I leave mine pretty plain. I mean, it looks really nice, but I don't have a bunch of flowers and all that stuff on the front because I really want to be able to send this in the mail safely, and I wanted it to fit in my envelope nicely. And then I'll just add some glue here, after I write my sentiment. And this one's actually going in a package, a rack that I'm doing. Otherwise, I may not have used a black envelope. I probably would have used a different color. I never sent a black envelope in the mail, so probably would have used green and then black on the inside, but this is what I went with. So I'm going to show you how to put this together. So what you're going to need is an 8 1/2 by an 11 paper to start with, and you're going to line it up on your cutter here, and you want your paper to be 4 1/4 by 11. Okay, so I'm going to line it up for 4 1/4 and cut that, and then you're going to want another piece 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to cut that. Hi, honey, I'm still videoing.
Hi.
Hubby's home, guys. So once you get those pieces, I want you to get your scoreboard out. Set the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 piece aside. And you want to line this one up 11 inches. Okay. Oh! Where's my... I lost it. Okay, I'm just going to use this for now. You want to score it at... What did I score this at? Let's see. I knew before I started. oh yeah, 5 1/2 and 2 3/4. So your first score mark you want at 2 3/4 inches. Okay, and your next one you want at 5 1/2. So you want to fold this in half. Okay, this is your top, this is your inside, and this is where you scored it at the 2 3/4. You want to fold it in this way. Okay, so it sits like this. Now on this part of the card is where you're going to add your adhesive. I normally use glue, but I'm just going to use my ATG gun for video purposes. I'm going to run my tape along my score line, but I'm not touching the score line. Okay. You're going to take your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece, line it up with your card. Take your time doing this because you don't want to tape it on there and then have to peel it up. Okay. And that just created your easel. Okay, so this is the front that you want to decorate. I've already cut my pieces to size for the video, so it doesn't take too long. The pieces you want, if you want a little bit of a border, a black cardstock border, all the way around your card like I have, the size mats you're going to need are, let's see, let's use this. Oh, here it is. Okay. 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 inch. And the same thing for the mat on the inside. Okay, so let's get our front mat on. I usually put tape or glue around all my edges, and then I add a little tape in the middle. Oh, had some tape on the outside there. I'm going to do my inside mat. Okay, there we go. Okay, for the front, I said I already had my piece. I'm just going to add my dimensional tape to it, my foam tape. These are so easy to make and they're so much fun. And I figured out how to line my envelopes, and that way I'm really using up most of my scrap pieces. I hardly have any scraps left over. Because usually if I do one card, I'll do two from like a 12 by 12. Okay. Now the size I used for these are, let's see, where'd I put them? Okay, for these dies, the Nestabilities dies that I used the second one in, not the biggest one, the second one, okay, for the front. And then for the two inside pieces here, I used the next two down. So I just went second one in, next one down, and the next one down from that. And those are the sizes I used. In case you guys have this, you know, this particular die and want to make the same thing. Okay. So now I want to add my lace, and I'm just going to use a bit of tacky glue. And I cut my lace to like hang over my card just a bit. Because you can always cut that off. And when you line it up, you want to make sure that when you close the card, you're not going to see the bottom hanging out too much here. I mean, you can let it hang out if you want to, but I didn't for this particular one. Okay. Cut off that excess there. Almost cut into my card. Okay. Then the next piece, I added my border. My paper border, and I don't even know what this was from. I just had scraps left over and I really wanted to use them up, so I'm just kind of making sure it's flush with the lace here. Okay, trim off that excess. Oh, got some glue in the back, gotta rub that off. And this is how I ran tape on the back of this, and I just put a piece of the tool, the orange glitter tool like I told you. And then I just kind of cut at it, and I melted it a little just to make it look a little grungy. So that's how I did that. Sorry guys if you hear like a little frog in my voice today, but my throat's kind of dried out. Line that up there, make sure it's not hanging too much. And then you could just trim off pieces if it's too long. Okay, and this I kind of want to make dimensional, pop it up a little bit. So I'm going to add some more tape. Thought it would be fun to do a card share this week, especially an easel card, because when I first saw easel cards I was like, wow, that kind of looks really complicated. And then when I made one and I found out how easy it was, I was like, wow, that wasn't so bad. Now I really like making them. So I really wanted to share it with you guys, so you could see, you know, it really is not hard once you start doing them. Okay? That's our card, guys. We got that done pretty quickly, right? Okay, once you're done with your card, you want to put your envelope together. So what you're going to need is, you want to start with an 8.5. Let me get my cutter out. You want an 8.5 by 8.5 inch square. So this is already 8.5 on this side. So let me get this one cut, and then we'll score it. And for this part, you're going to need the insert for your envelopes. You want to line up one of the sides right along this edge. Okay, and like I said before, this is the standard A2 size, so we want to make the A2 size envelope, which is an 8. You start off with an 8.5 by 8.5 inch square. You're going to line it up, and your A sides, which is this side and this side, okay, you want to score them at 3 inches. So 3 on here, 3 inches here. Let's flip it again. This is going to be my B side and B side now, because we already did the A. So the B sides need to be 3 5/8. So go to the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8, and score. Flip it around, line it up good. Hit the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8 and score. Okay, so we scored our envelope. Now what I do, I don't fold this until I cut these little triangular pieces off on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't know if everybody cuts these little pieces off, but I do. Okay, so I'm going to cut those out. I'm hoping this video loads up because I've been having, I'm sorry, my hand's really shaky today for some reason. I've been having problems loading videos lately. I've also been having problems not getting all of my messages in my inbox. I've been seeing that people are leaving me comments and I was never notified that somebody left one, so I've actually been surfing my own videos to make sure I answered everybody's questions. So if I didn't get to you yet, I apologize, but those are the problems I've been experiencing lately. So you want to fold your ends up now. Okay. And just made your envelope. Open it back up. And now I told you I had a leftover piece. So what I do, this is how I do mine. Everybody does them differently. It's just the easiest way for me. And I don't use any measuring. I trace. And I'm going to show you why in a minute. I really only need the paper to go down so far. So I'm going to bring it down to about here, the ends. And I'm going to trace a pretty good pencil mark. You're not going to see it because you're going to end up cutting it off. But I trace a pencil mark around my paper, okay, so I can see it very well. And I get my cutter out. Okay. So this line here, I actually want to cut my paper a little bit on the inside of that pencil line. So when I line it up here, let me see if I can get you guys a little bit closer. Without shaking my camera too much. I'm sorry if I am, but I really want you to be able to see this. Okay, here's my pencil line. I want to cut in a little bit further. So I'm going to line this pencil line up with probably, let's see, probably this line right here. Okay, so my pencil line is actually lined up with that line. Put my blade down. That's a little bit too far, so let me bring it back to like this first big solid line. Pencil line on the first big solid line and trim. Okay, I'm going to flip this around and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. This pencil line is going to line up with this solid line, past my blade line, and I'm going to trim. So you guys can see, here's my pencil line and I trimmed all that much further in to make it smaller. Okay, now we have the point of the envelope to cut off. So you're going to take your pencil line and line it up again with that first solid black line right after your blade line. And you're going to trim that off. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. And I usually take my tip and I make sure it's steady up top here with another line, so I know I have it pretty even before I make my actual cut. Okay, let's see if this matches up. I think I need this trimmed a little tiny smidge more for some reason. Must not have been lined up right. Okay, so now we have our insert. Open up your envelope again. Make sure got it pretty even on all sides around. Take your tape or your glue. Hopefully I'm not going too quickly. If you guys have any questions, just let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on them. Okay, line it up. Oh, let me pop this back up for you. Line it up. I like to leave a nice black border on it. Oh, I have some tape hanging over here. I want to push back down. Okay. And add it on there. Now when you close your envelope up, you're going to have this point here. I don't like that. So what I do is actually stick this inside, close these two flaps here. Okay. I'm going to get my handy pencil out and I'm going to trace this line and this line here and cut that little square off because I don't like it. You guys don't have to do this, but I just like my envelope to look really neat, and it's just the way I do it. Okay, I'm going to put it back in, get my tacky glue again. The tacky glue seems to work really well for me when I do my envelopes. They stay together like cement. Okay. And you're going to glue that flap down. Same thing on the other side. Line it around. Make sure you don't go too far over with your glue. Okay. And then when you fold this crease, what I like to do is run my, I don't know where I put it. My bone folder, here it is. When I crease my envelope up, I like to run my bone folder along the inside here, just a little bit before I fold it all the way down, and then I really make a good crease in the paper. Okay, and that way, if you run your bone folder on the inside here where the crease is, it helps your paper not to buckle. You can also add adhesive on this line a little bit before you actually adhere your paper down, and that helps your papers not to buckle as well. Okay, so there's the envelope, guys, and there's our card. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and join me again for week number 8 for the 1300 Projects of Halloween. Thanks, guys. Take care.